I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamsin Entertainment. And welcome to the conversation. Just before I get started, there are many ways you can help. You can like and subscribe so you never miss a conversation. But most importantly, please share this video. Get the word out there. There's a community where we can talk about all the things that we love. And that includes going off topic, going out of genre once in a while. Remember, I do have a very small how-to section, and this video was inspired by my friend Austin. Thanks, Austin. I also want to give a shout out and thank you to Eric Carner, Bill Algio, Tim Carpenter, Lisa Lynn, and Joe Striplin. Without all of you, I wouldn't be where I am right now, wouldn't have the knowledge that I have about Muay Thai, and be able to train at home. I know I have to get back to proper technique so I can train safely and get the best workout I possibly can. Links to their gyms are going to be in the description below. Check them out. They're great. If you want to get into Muay Thai, if you want to get into better shape or just better health in general, because it's also great mental health, check out Nak Muay Gym, Algio MMA. Forgive me if I mispronounce it. Shakti Muay Thai, Hellfish MMA, and Burning Spirits Muay Thai. So I bought myself a bag. I bought it emptied, and I watched another YouTuber on how to fill it. Their method definitely does work. The reason why mine isn't working as well as theirs, they used insulation, but they used high-grade insulation, much thicker than the normal pink stuff that you normally get. That's what's in here, and this is second time packing this one. This is a mixture of gallon-size bag-filled sand, 10 of those, and then the second time around I was going to toss out the insulation, but then I realized, hey look, I can take these insulation that's now in a bag, it's got more volume to it, I think that's the right term, and it should fill out better, and it does. Let me show you just a little bit. So the top, you see how it really looks depressed, and now you can kind of see the chunkiness right here. But as you get towards the bottom, that looks about right. I mean, that's pretty rock hard, especially in this section right about here and about up here. That's kind of rock hard, because the second time around, the way that the video I watched, they did one layer of sand per layer of insulation, so 10 all the way up. I did this time 2 at the bottom, 2 next, and then I just kind of was like, I want the middle to be hard, so I did 3 and 3. This time around I'm going to do 5 layers of 2, so 2, 2, 2 all the way up. And the only reason why I didn't think of this earlier, let me put this back the way it was. We're gonna go mobile for a second. Power of editing. You may or may not see this, I don't know. Because I never filled a bag before, I never thought get underlayment for carpet. It's just a cushion, and it has really good resistance and give in it. Far better than the insulation that I filled this up with. So I need to unfill it. You'll see a cut at some point, but I want to go over before I start doing all of that. And the other things I'll be using for this, I need a ladder. I need the ladder because I need to put, if you saw on Instagram, I showed that this came off, obviously is what it hangs from. I was wrong in the video that I put up on Instagram. The nylon is still in that nut, so it's still good. What happened was gravity was pulling everything down and it kept it in place. I mean, it's supposed to be kept in place because of the nylon, but it really kept it in place, and it just, the hook slowly turned and turned and turned and turned and turned, and then it just came down. That's why it came down as safely as it did. I mean, I've mentioned where I've worked before on one of the podcasts, but they don't need free advertising, so I'm just going to call it big box hardware. You can either remember what I said on the one podcast, or you can come to your own conclusion. But big box hardware. Talk to my fellow co-workers there. What should I get to make this not happen again? And shout out to Jack. He's awesome. So I have utility knife and the marker, because what I plan on doing is measuring the bag and measuring the carpet underlayment. They're about the same height. I'm going to cut it into, well, however many sections I can. But the idea is to measure it, mark it on the plastic that's keeping it held in right now, because it's going to be far more manageable just to mark it like that and get as even of increments as I possibly can with it. And then just once I cut out what I want, deal with that one piece, unroll it because it is a little wider than the bag. Unroll it, and then once it's in the bag, it will expand, which is what I want. But he suggested to keep the hook, everything in place, get this this Loctite thread glue. Basically, it's permanent. We were kind of going back and forth. Should it be permanent? Should it be removable? Well, no, it'll still turn, so that's good. It'll still turn, but at least hopefully the nuts won't turn and it won't come undone, because I don't feel like doing this every single time. And he suggested lock washers on top and bottom to really keep it in place. And a measuring tape there to obviously measure different sizes I'm going to need to fill in the bag. So with that, I'm going to stop, empty out the bag, and then next I'll turn it back on and we'll get the measuring done. All right, hold on for the jump cut. So the bag's empty for the most part, except for the towel at the bottom, which the video I watched, I'm guessing they used it for stability, make it a little flatter when you start putting stuff in, make it a little easier to stuff. And I still got 2 bags of sand at the bottom, and the rest of them are right here. I measured it out. It says it's about 5'11", so it's like basically 6 feet. It's a little longer with the nylon straps, which I'm using this paracord, if you can see it, yeah. The idea is, because it's hanging too low on the stand behind it, the stand's like 6'5", 6'7", something like that, but the straps, they're so long, it still touches the floor. I don't want that. That's one of the reasons, that's actually the main reason why I want to get this bag just right. Austin keeps on telling me, why don't you just send it back, get the right size bag so it hangs and all stuff like that. I could, but I don't know. I'm pretty stubborn. The only other person I know that's more stubborn than me is my brother. I don't know if it's just me getting older, or for the most part, I mean, there are exceptions, but I'm kind of the mindset, I've made my bed, it's time for me to lay in it. It's like, I made the decision to get this, and I'm going to make it work. And when I had it stuffed the second time, I did make it work because of the paracord, and I wrapped the nylons within themselves a bunch of times to where they were short enough where it would hang. It was probably 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches off the ground, which is perfect. But the main reason why I'm restuffing this again is for the first time I restuffed it, and the second time, and now hopefully third time's a charm. Proper technique. Now, I know it's been a few years since I've practiced Muay Thai, so there's that, but I used to also coach Muay Thai, so I know proper technique. And I also realize that I'm being out of practice, I'm going to have bad technique, so I'm kind of taking it slow. I guess I still have some pretty good technique if I were able to knock this off, because it does rock quite a bit. The stand itself is probably 70, no, it's like 55 pounds, and then you can put weights on the bottom of it, and then the bag itself, so it's like a combination total, it's probably 220 to 230 pounds, but I'm only hitting I'm hitting the bag, that's got to be like 110 or so, 115. But you got to have proper technique. I mostly noticed, because the bag was either sitting on the ground or it wasn't full at the top, that I was overextending, and you can notice that when you're in your elbow when you're reaching too far, you'll feel it. If you do martial arts, you know what I'm talking about, especially if you're hitting the bag incorrectly, or if you do grappling like jiu-jitsu, Brazilian or like gi'd, no gi or gi jiu-jitsu, if you get an arm bar, definitely know about overextension there. But yeah, I want proper technique, and it's kind of difficult because let me just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, and then do this. Alright, so I don't know how much of this you can see. There's the top of it. I had to remove ceiling tile to make it fit. This is a good stand. The only problem I have with it, well, I mean, I didn't go with any other stand. I could have gone with other stands. So there's the weights. There's the frame. Now you see these two bars on the side here that give it extra stability. I'm worried about hitting those, so I have to stand off even more to the side instead of dead on with the punching bag, so I don't hit my foot on these things. Because in Muay Thai you kick with your shins, and since that goes past the bag, you could possibly hit your foot on one of these, break your foot that way. I don't want that. That all comes back to proper technique. It doesn't matter which angle you're on, you need proper technique. So if we just call it 6 feet, because it is 6 feet, I'm only doing it this way so that the rest of the tape measure has somewhere to rest. And it's not falling over like it did. I'm going to have to be careful to mark this. We're going to get 3 pieces out of it. 2 layers of sand at the bottom. Then you're going to have a layer of foam. Then another 2 bags. Layer of foam. And another 2 bags. So that's up to 3. You know what? I'll let you know when I figure it out. 2-foot section. And then a 2-foot section. I'm gonna try to make, well, I have the string, so I'll use this. I'll use the power cord. I'm gonna do my best to get a perfect circle around that, so I'm not cutting off at weird angles. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna clean up a bit down around here, and then I'll see you in just a moment. So I just thought of a better way of cutting this. Yeah! Okay, that doesn't work. But I had to make it geeky somehow. Nah, we'll switch to the tiny version of the Buster Sword, even though it's kind of reversed. Good old utility knife. Be careful, people, because it is very, very sharp. Alright. Don't know if you can really see. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. So you see the line. What I did was I used rope, as I mentioned, to go around and try to make it as straight as possible. I'm going to start where that opening is, so I can cut that as straight as possible. And I have, this was unintentional, but it really works out this way. I have so that the opening of the wrap is so I can turn it, and it's going away from me. Let me zoom back out. No, that's in. Back out. Okay. I'm also starting right here because there's no clear mark, so I'm just going to cut from the mark that's on the plastic to the other mark on the plastic. This is going to be difficult. I have to switch out the blade. No bueno! So, I forgot to hit record. I've been doing that lately. I don't know why. Can't see me. Hi! So, I got the first initial cut out of the way. I started here where there wasn't any mark, and I went from mark to mark, and then I just went around. Then I noticed as I was cutting, that it was starting to come apart, and I can just see it becoming very unruly very quickly while I cut the rest of it away. So I just put tape there to manage it. I'm going to cut. We'll be back, and this will be in 3 sections. So I got them cut into 3 pieces, and there's a bunch that came off of it. I kind of expected that. Not going to toss it out. I mean, I'll vacuum up the little pieces I can't get, but I'm going to use it as little extra filler, probably at the bottom. That's where it makes the most sense. Alright, next is to get one of these. Get this one. After I clean this up, I'm going to open it up and then re-roll it and then get it in the bag. Let me clean this up real quick and I'll be right back. Ha! Hello! I forgot to hit record again. I don't know why I keep on doing this. Been recording for a few years now. You'd think I'd remember something as simple as that. So, I got the first one unwrapped, unrolled. It's extremely long. Much longer than I had thought, but I have years of experience rolling tents up from my Boy Scout days, and even more years experience rolling carpet from the time I was in the flooring department at Big Box Hardware. The idea is to start out, see if I can get this in frame. Start out rolling this way. Get it is, it's easier if I do it on the floor. You won't be able to see it, but you'll get the idea. Get the start out as small as possible and just continue on that. You want to get it as small as possible so it will fit inside the bag. Once you get it started to a decent amount, it should be easy to control. And if I have to, I'll make more layers out of it, which will work out in the long run. I don't know if I can take a look at another one. Nice smaller than what this is. You can't really tell. Doesn't look like I'm smaller. Looks like I'm. Now you might have to do this a few times. It's difficult because it's as wide as it is. So you have to manage 3 points, the sides and the middle. Actually, this might be easier if I could. I don't really have everything small enough. I was thinking about like getting a dowel or something that will keep it as even as possible. That would most certainly work, but I don't have a dowel with me. But there's something that you could do. Actually, wait, what do I got? No, that won't work. But if you can get like, let's say, a 1/4 inch dowel, that's small enough. Get it wrapped around that, and then just work from there, and then you can remove the dowel and then use it for the next one. So there you go. Something a little easier for you when you do it. Get a 1/4 inch dowel that's 2 feet in length, because that's what I cut these at, 2 feet each. And then roll it on that, because that'll make it pretty small. And that's what we're gonna do. Try to keep this as small as possible. Constantly keep on tucking it to get it small. Hopefully that'll be the end result. There's a lot at the end you can't see that's not unrolled, because this thing is so freaking big. That'll make it a little easier. Since I got weight down there, I can get this nice and tight, as small as possible. Hopefully small enough to fit inside the bag. And try to keep it nice and even, because you're going to want that for when you put sand on top of it. It's a little uneven for me right now, but I can hopefully fix that on the way down, or I can feel some give in there. I don't want that. I want it to be loose, keep it nice and tight. I ran out of battery. Unfortunately, it does not look like I accomplished what I wanted to do. There's a few things I can do. I can roll it to where I want to and just cut the excess off, which is something I might do. And I can use the extra layers to make it even inside. I might do that. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Because, bring the bag over. Yeah, that's not fitting. That's not gonna fit. So let's unroll it again. Okay. Maybe this time do half of it, because it will just naturally expand, because it wants to move out. It's big squishy stuff. It wants to move out. It's only being held together by a very thin nylon mesh. So I'm starting up again. Try to get it nice and tight. And maybe it's a good thing I'm not using everything, because I'm pretty sure the stand's only rated for 100 pounds. I'm already kind of pushing it with the way I've been doing it. So the fact that I can't use the entire thing is probably a good thing. Maybe I can get bang for my buck and get 2 out of 1, and then just have extra left over for whatever reason. I don't really need it. This I wrapped up to this side. That was the initial roll. I'm gonna, before I cut it, I'm gonna see if this will fit. It should. Surprisingly, it's not opening up like I thought it was going to, but that's okay. Stop moving. Stop moving. Kind of get an idea. Okay, this will fit. with some extra room, so I can get another layer in there, which is good. I won't have enough for another one, but that's fine. I'll just leave that to the side. I'm just gonna I'm gonna have a lot left over, unless what I could do, I could use this and go into the next one. I'm still gonna have basically the same amount of waste no matter what I do, but this is promising. This is very promising. So we'll roll that a bit. We'll get this, let's say here. That should be nice and tight. Nice tight fit. Alright, now time to cut it. Even though the carpet I'm on isn't the best, I still don't want to cut into it. Let's flip this around. Okay. So let's okay. Doesn't particularly matter which end goes in. They're both kind of uneven. They're even enough. That's all you really need. First, let me check on the 2 bags of sand that are in here. And if they're not flat enough, I just want to run into any problems. I know I'm fighting gravity and I'm fighting physics. This is the difficult way of doing it, but like I said, I'm the second most stubborn person I know. I'm going to do things the difficult way until I start learning something better. And since it's my technically 3rd time doing this, I have no other basis to go off of really, because this is, as far as I know, my own idea. I'm not sure if other people have done this. Okay. The bags of sand are relatively flat. So what we're going to do, we're going to start out flat like this, get the bag around it, and then just start pushing. Get it nice and, that's good, that's good. Alright, now, okay, so pushing, you grab the bag, use your body to push it in. That's really good. Alright, I like that. This is going to work. If it doesn't, I don't know. Maybe I'll spend hundreds of dollars on actual foam like this and just fill it until I'm satisfied. But yes, this feels right. This is going to work. This is going to work. You got to be positive. This will work. All right, it's in there far enough. Ah, yes. Then there's working with gravity. Okay. That goes up to about there. I just thought of all the little scraps that I'm going to have can shift to the bottom and fill out the bottom. This, it's full enough. I guess the next ones I'm going to try and make a little fuller. As I mentioned, part of the reason why my technique's been off is because it's not full. It's full at the bottom, sure, but not at the top. And because of that unequalness, I don't know if that's a word, I'm overextending either in the jab or in the cross. And you don't want that. It's just bad. It's bad form. You don't want to form bad habits. And it's bad for your body. It just, you don't want them, you just don't want it. So the next ones, I know I need to make them just a little fuller than that one. That probably went in a little too easily, but it's at the bottom. That's fine. At the bottom, I'm throwing kicks. That's a different thing I have to worry about. I have to worry about hitting metal. Not so much overextension. On the next one. Okay. As you can tell, maybe from my heavy breathing, I finally got it stuffed. It's uneven in certain areas. You can see right here, there's a gap between the foam. What I ended up doing, there was no way I was going to fit that sucker in there. So what I ended up doing, this is part of the remnants. I took both of them, folded them in half, rolled them up. Well, I rolled up the first one, then I rolled up the second one into the first one, and that gave me a nice top. It's nice and tight in there. I'm not too worried. So you can see another divide right here. I'm not too worried about that. This is all sand right here. I'm not too worried about that. It's going to even out and settle. And it will do it fairly quickly too, because there's enough gap there where it will even out and settle just right. Now it's just a matter of hanging it, but unfortunately I need a second person for that because my back won't like me if I try to do it by myself. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see more like Muay Thai stuff or martial arts stuff down the road. I know this is really out of the ordinary for me. Typically seeing reviews on Thursday. This is up on Saturday because my how-to series used to be on Saturday. If you like what you saw, like it. If you think other people like it, share it. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and live your imagination.